Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Delta Chamber of Commerce Networking and Learning Lunch for October, featuring our special guest speakers, Bechtel Canada Corporation, sponsored by the British Columbia Construction Association, and we're very, very glad to see you all here today. I wish to acknowledge the Tsawwassen First Nation, on whose traditional territory we are today, and thank them for allowing us to gather on their ancestral lands. My name's Ian Tate, and I'm the Executive Director of the Delta Chamber of Commerce, and pleased that so many people have responded to our invitation to be part of today's important event and find out what's going on just a little ways down the road. It's been there since 1971, but now somebody's investing $400 million in that project to expand it, and we're pretty excited about that as an economic opportunity for Delta and Delta-based businesses of all sizes, but more importantly for what LNG means to the future of British Columbia. So again, we're delighted to have you here. I'd be remiss if we didn't acknowledge and thank our sustaining annual partners, our platinum partners, Port Metro Vancouver and Delta Cable, our gold partner, Century Group, our silver partners, Alpha Aviation, Grosvenor International, Kwantlen Polytechnic University, MK Delta Lands Group, Polygon Homes, TSI, Terminal Systems Incorporated, and West Shore Terminals. And I'd also like to acknowledge our media sponsors, Delta TV and the Delta Optimist. Please join with me in giving them a round of applause. So to start our program, I'd like to invite our luncheon sponsor, Manly McLaughlin from the BC Construction Association forward to share with us some words and to introduce our guest speakers. Manly.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Ian, for the opportunity. How's that? Thanks for the opportunity to not only sponsor this event, but to participate in the event. We're more than pleased to be here. The subject of today's luncheon and learning session, of course, is a project of real importance to the industry here in British Columbia. You know, LNG, it's clear that British Columbians have collectively put LNG at the forefront of their ambitions. And so it's always great to see a related project, one that obviously has existed here for a while, but to have this kind of project move forward is, I think, confirmation that there is a real LNG industry here in the province, and it will grow as time goes on. So as a sponsor, I'm going to take the liberty, if you will, of telling you a little bit about BCCA. We have some interesting things on the go. And I want to acknowledge a couple of, 2 or 3 folks in the room who are a big part of what we do. We're kind of a unique organization in British Columbia. We're not a labor relations organization. So our members are both union and non-union members. We represent some 2,000 companies across the province, and our members come to us through what we call an integrated membership structure with 4 regional construction associations. So BCCA North out of Prince George, the Southern Interior Construction Association out of Kelowna, Vancouver Regional out of, obviously, Vancouver, and Vancouver Island Regional Construction Association. And I do want to acknowledge Clark Campbell, who's in the room here today, with his company, obviously, Smith Brothers and Wilson, but Clark is also chair of the Vancouver Regional Construction Association. So I think it was either Chris or Michael asked me, so what do you guys do? And we do actually a fair number of things. First off, our goal is to provide services, relevant services, to the not just our members, but to the industry in general across the province. So the Skilled Trades Employment Program is a program that we initiated. We're now in our 9th year. And before I go any farther, I want to acknowledge Faith Dempster, who is our regional manager here in Vancouver, and of course Bruce Lund, who was introduced a little bit earlier. So STEP is the product of our recognizing that skilled trades were back 8-9 years ago, were always talked about as being you know, the pending skill shortage. Well, the reality is the skill shortage is here today. It's not going to go away. We believe that it's actually going to get to be a bigger issue moving forward. And the only thing that we've shifted is our emphasis on skilled. And, you know, our team across the province, we have some about 70 people now working in 14 different communities across the province. We call our field staff regional employment placement specialists. They work with employers. They work with individuals who may come out of training agencies or training facilities, and we connect them with jobs in the industry. And we're proud to say that over the last 8.5 or so years, we've placed over 9,000 people in the industry, and our target has been non-traditional sources of workers. So landed immigrants, people from the Aboriginal communities, women, and people with disabilities. And so we're real proud of the record that we have, and we know in our follow-up that about 85% of the people that our team works with in placing actually stay in employment. So we know it's a good connection. So if you have any questions, Faith, certainly if you're looking for staff, if you're looking for access to folks who want to work in the industry, Faith and her team are a great place to start here in this part of the province. Bid Central, well, I think you saw the logo up there. Bid Central is a unique service. Again, it's something that we provide not just to our members but to the industry. Many of you in the room from the industry will remember the bid depository, which was an old manual system. You put your bids in an envelope and sent them off to the association. They were distributed to generals. Well, about 4 years ago, we automated all of that. We actually took away your ability to put in a non-compliant bid by going online. And so that system operates in a, we have a number of services that are there. I was talking to Michael about what we do and hoping that there might be some way to at least address what we do with Bechtel as they go to the local industry to engage. The Bid Central piece is, we think, is a critical piece for industry, and it's a critical way for organizations that are looking for contractors and suppliers to link with the local areas, the local suppliers in the area, and to ensure that it's done in an open, fair, and transparent manner. So, I'm not going to eat up the whole afternoon telling you what we are, but we're, as I said, very pleased to be here, to be a sponsor, and very pleased to hear what our speakers have to say. I'm going to introduce the guests today in the order that they are going to speak. So Chris John has been a project manager with Bechtel Corporation since 2012, and has over 40 years of experience in engineering, procurement, and construction, specializing in the design and installation of facilities. Over his career, he's managed diverse projects in locations throughout the world, including terminals in Panama, St. Lucia, Argentina, Aruba, Spain, Abu Dhabi, and the United States. He was a project manager for the, in Bechtel is called FEED. It's the front-end engineering portion of their process of the Fortis Tilbury LNG plant expansion beginning in 2013, and is currently the project director based in Calgary. Chris holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Industrial Engineering from the University of Wisconsin. And just to expedite matters, so I don't have to get back up here, I'm going to introduce Michael as well. Michael has been in project and commercial management since joining Bechtel in 2010. And during his tenure, Michael has led multiple initiatives, managed multiple key project proposals, and was involved in strategic planning and development across several aspects of Bechtel's business. Michael served as project manager for the offshore business line's first front-end engineering process, commercial manager for the pipeline business line, and is currently commercial manager for the tank business line, specifically assigned to ensure the successful execution of the Fortis BC Tilbury LNG plant expansion project here. Prior to joining Bechtel, Michael served in the U.S. Navy for 12 years as a submarine officer, and also as a project manager for FMC Technologies, Inc. for 4 years. Michael holds an MBA in Finance from the University of Texas, McCombs School of Business, and a Bachelor of Science degree in Ocean Engineering from the United States Naval Academy. So, Chris, if you want to come forward, and thank you again for the opportunity to be here.
You were talking about training. It really all ties in. This morning I was over in Langley with the Boilermakers Union, talking just about that, about the apprenticeship programs and the training and the people we need to be building out there, building this project. So I'm driving back, and I was telling Orville and a few of the folks coming down Highway 10, down the back way, and I hadn't been on that road before, and all of a sudden I saw the little bonsai farm, and I started seeing the truck farms, and I mentioned I saw it front loaded with pumpkins. There was a 1949 International Harvester truck, and I know that well because I grew up on a vegetable truck farm, suburban Chicago, and you know, you think about your roots, and you think about balance of life, and we need both. And I said that, I was shocked. I said, oh, I was thinking Delta is more of an industrial type area. And then all of a sudden I'm seeing all the truck farms and vegetable farms in the area. And how do you, as Delta, balance that? How do we balance it? And hey, that's what we've all got to face, balancing our lives with opportunities for ourselves and for our kids and in my case, my grandkids, as well as making sure we preserve the place for them also. I'm not going to. We held the kickoff meeting for Fortis in Calgary back in August, and Paul's not here. Paul Matson, the project director for Fortis, but we were talking about it, and I made the comment that Fortis was really dynamic and fleet of foot coming up with this project. And he was laughing, saying, "Gosh, nobody ever accused Fortis of being fleet of foot before, but they are," and that's. When you think about the big projects that may be coming down the road up there in Kitimat and Prince Rupert with the Shells and the Chevrons and the Petronas's, and those projects have been getting developed for years, and here's Fortis, that is, of course, all across Canada, coming up with this project and coming up quickly. And they're seeing a niche opportunity, and what's the driver? Obviously right now it's the transportation industry, the truck fleets, whether it's the garbage trucks or the cross-country trucks, want to drive instead of switch from diesel to LNG. Why? It's an economic model that drives them, but with it, it's also really an environmentally proper fuel that we should be going to. So it's a win-win. So here's Fortis looking at all the other potential projects to grow this particular facility, and certainly we hope they do. So you've got a dynamic company here, right in the midst. And of course, they've been here since 1971. Specific to this project, as Manley said, yeah, it's a $400 million for Fortis, and that includes they've got electrical substations and they've got some other work they've got to do, some of the ground improvements. The Bechtel portion that we have, our lump sum, and I say that it's a lump sum contract, and I had to say it this morning to the Boilermaker BA when we're talking about training and development of the people. It's a risk we take. Our portion is about $300 million, a little over about $310 million. And what is the project? It is about 35% of the project value probably lies in the LNG tank. This particular LNG tank, different than the one that's there, is what they call a full containment LNG tank. So it's totally encased in concrete. Inside is a 9% nickel tank. You think, a storage tank. There's a fair amount of cutting edge engineering and technology going into the design of that. The rest of the component is the process to basically take the gas off the gas stream. That's and the pipelines. As everybody knows, we all know about pipelines and the controversy at times how you get the lines and where do you put the lines. But the gas line has been feeding to that plant since 1971. And basically what we will do is we will take that gas, we have some booster equipment we have to do to bring the pressure up, and basically we have to pre-treat it. For LNG, the nature of LNG is you have to, even though gas in the stream is fine for your house, for your furnaces or for cooking, in order to liquefy it, you've got to knock out contaminants that are in that line. You've got to knock out all the sulfurs and the mercaptans. So we've got a huge pre-treatment facility. We're working with a company, Thermal Design Energy, up in Alberta, that's their specialty of designing the pre-treatment facilities. You start the process of converting it into an LNG. You've got a big big mixed refrigerant compressor. In this case, we've got a 17,000 horsepower motor. It's probably going to be a Siemens motor that drives this big compressor. That basically, and it's multi-cycle compressor that will ultimately take the heat out, get it down to the minus 162. And it goes through quite a bit of process equipment, even though you say, it's only a $300 million job, and what's Prince Rupert and these Kitimat jobs? These are $15, $20, $30 billion jobs, but still a lot of technology that goes into getting this gas converted into an LNG, which goes into the LNG tank. From that, we have, what do you do with it? It's got to come out with pumps into a truck loading facility that we will have there. And that's basically what this is for. This is for the trucking industry. overall, what's the value, not the value, what do we bring that's specific to Delta? First of all, in terms of the job situation from the craft worker side, we're probably going to average about 160 to 200 people, probably peaking about 250. Really, we'll touch 350 to 400 people at different ups and downs on the project. When do we break ground? We're hoping to break ground in 2 weeks. We're looking. The groundbreaking ceremony is next week with I believe Premier Christy Walker's going to be there and others are going to be there. Right after that, we start bringing in the trailers, start bringing in the equipment. We actually want to start moving the earth, not that much earth because it's pretty well graded at site. Week of November 3rd, we're hoping to start really breaking ground, building the foundations. Initially, the critical path for this project is the LNG tank. The nature of this job, overall it was a 27-month schedule. We have to basically have this plant in operation, running smoothly, fully commissioned and meeting all the performance requirements by approximately the middle of November 2016. And in most construction projects, you like a real nice bell curve, how you ramp up with your people, peak off and come down. Unfortunately, with this one, we ramp up, stay ramped up, and then all of a sudden, kaboom! We've got to be done. So we've got a very aggressive schedule over the next 2 years. As I said, the LNG tanks, the main focus for the next 4 to 5 months. We'll start the balance of plant foundations and equipment starting in the spring. We have, at that point, we start putting up structural steel. Process equipment starts coming in. We start pulling cables, working, obviously laying all the pipe in there, and we'll be blowing and going right up until basically September, October of 2016 when we're in full-fledged startup mode. So that's the overall schedule of the project. Where do we buy our goods? Where do we, well, once more, on the people side, the plan for the people is, it's a local employment type position. The Bechtel folks, when we were putting the estimate together, they called it a lifestyle project. And I said, well, what is that? And what's happened, because in the industrial market has been down a little bit in certainly lower BC. Most people go off and live in these big camp jobs up in Prince Rupert or up there in northern Alberta. This is a job where the folks can go home at night and be with their families. Actually, plan some things with the kids, going to the hockey games or whatever they're doing, their hunting and fishing on the weekends. So it's basically, we're hoping it's a Monday to Friday. I'm sure we'll have to work some weekends to keep on track. But so the question is, can we staff it? Here's people who are used to going off on these camp jobs and working 10 and 12-hour days, 7 days a week. They work 3 to 6 weeks. They come home for a week, go back, and will we be able to staff it? And the feeling is the impact. The input we've received from the unions, and we've been meeting with all the various union BAs, is yes, they can staff the job. People are looking forward and excited about actually being able to work close to home. Drive to work in the morning, put in a full day's work, drive home at night, and be home at night. They, in terms of the industrial construction workers, they don't always have that opportunity. So hope they're right, because that's the way we estimated it. When I was flying in Monday night, the plane was rocking, and the fella next to me said, "Boy, it was really a nice summer. How great weather was." And I'm like, "Yeah, now we're breaking ground in 2 weeks, and we've got a lump sum job." And did we estimate? And of course, we know it rains here, and we'll know in 2 years was it right or wrong? And hopefully, we made the right numbers on what we put in for our productivity numbers. Someone's giving me the signal saying I'm talking too long, so. I'll get off, but I'm looking forward to meeting you. I think after Mike's done, we're going to go into some more smaller breakout sessions. And all I want to say is I'm excited about the project. In my 40 years of moving around, I've been in some most of my career I've been in lousy places. It said Aruba and St. Lucia and stuff, and actually those were okay, I guess I was younger. But Abu Dhabi, and it's not the nice part of Spain where I've been in the nice part of Argentina. And to actually have a job where I'm predominantly in Calgary, where we're doing the engineering and procurement out of Calgary, then coming to Vancouver, it's like, wow, pinch me. So for us, it's just great to have an industrial project here in Delta is just fantastic. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Chris. my role in the project is basically what you're seeing right now is coming after Chris and kind of nudging him along the way and filling in the holes on the project as we go forward. Officially, the commercial manager has some responsibility. It's everything but construction, working directly for the project director, but I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you that the keystone to this whole effort and the reason why we're here, she's sitting over here, is Anya Nowitzka as the procurement manager from Bechtel in Calgary, who is really, like I said, the key aspect for the procurement and subcontracting effort on the project. There's a reason why she's here, and that's it, because we wouldn't be able to do it without her. Likewise, the reason why you're here and while we're standing in front of you is Bechtel's spent, geez, we're coming up on 113 years in the company. So I don't know if I'll give you a quick overview of Bechtel in general. I don't know if anybody really knows, but we were founded in 1898. It was a small business. We're now in the 4th generation Bechtel. It started in Oklahoma as a railway grading company. So they were going out and clearing land for the for the railroad across. We've grown into now it's been 16 years in a row we were named the top U.S. construction firm. We've grown from a small company into one that's quite large, and we do projects like the Cross Island Rail in the UK, the Tacoma's Narrows Bridge, the new one, not the one that fell down, Hoover Dam, the Channel, and in spite of all these big, epic projects and construction efforts, you probably wouldn't recognize a Bechtel logo if you were asked. And there's a reason why that is, and it's a private firm and it's closely held. We've got about 50,000 people, but we do everything possible to keep our names out of the paper. And like most public companies, any news is good news. We have a different take on our business. And the reason why I say that is our reputation is built on execution. And it's risk management, it's safety, and integrity. And doing all of those things combined. To do that, and the way that we've grown is through local development. It's not bringing in labor from outside, it's really getting the people in the community involved. And the ownership that you bring to that, it helps us, it helps you. And that's really one of the things that we want to drive home is that just as much as you may want to work on the project, we want you probably more. Because like Chris said, it is your backyard. It's you're going home at night. We want you to go home and spend that quality time in the rotation with your family. So I'll stop pontificating here. But really, I just want to give you that background. One of the things that we're really going to go through later on is, and I'm not too sure how we're going to do this, is the rotation. We'll be at different tables. But, and it's really the procurement effort. How do we pre-qualify? How do we choose vendors? That sort of thing. The timeline that Chris gave you is fairly consistent with, if you take a look at the way, and Anya has the schedule a little bit better, it takes us about, between the level of the company itself, between 3 weeks and 3 months to pre-qualify somebody, and depending on the size of the job. So please, if you haven't started the pre-qualification for the Fortis BC, this project here with us, please do so now. If you've done it in the past, we don't have an automated response that tells you, yes, you've made it, so please check. That's something that we're looking at developing in-house is a way that you can log on, put your username, and you'll get some feedback on whether you're successful or not. Right now that doesn't exist, so unfortunately it's almost a black hole. We want your participation. We need your participation, so please pre-qualify. If you're not pre-qualified, we can't consider you. And so that's a plead from my end. Some of the ways that, some of the sectors that we're really targeting for local development here and local content is surveying, temporary housing, construction, trailers, security, geotechnical consultancy, steel fabrication, spool fabrication, building trades, that sort of thing. So Hopefully we have the right demographic in the room, because that's really what we're looking for. And Chris said, we need it soon. So overall, I don't want to sit up here. Really, the meat of the program is with Anya, and the rest of this one-on-one. But just following up with what Chris said, and not as funny as Chris, or I'm not making anybody laugh, but this is really means a lot to us. Bechtel's reputation is always at stake. No matter where we go, whether it's a $1 million project, a $10 million project, or a $30 billion project. And we do the gamut, but we take the care and custody and basically the responsibility as if they were all the same. And it's not a success for us unless the local community is successful as well. And that's really one of the things that we drive home. So thank you very much for coming, and look forward to talking to each and every one of you afterwards. Thank you.
So what's the one word that's top of mind for everybody in the room? Louder there at the back for it? Let's say that together. Pre-qualify. Oh, geez, I tell you. Anyway, just to let you know, Anya is going to be over at this table, and we'll put Chris, we'll put you over at that table, if we may. And Michael, we'll have you in the back corner there. So the two gentlemen there. Oh, sorry, one of them is from International Paint. He wants to talk to you right away. What I would recommend making the most advantageous use of everybody's time, if you're here as multiple representatives of the same company, please go together in a pack. You know, we've got 3 people with finite amounts of time. I know this could be like speed dating. I do not want to ring the bell at 2 minutes, but please be aware that we will be following up with each and everybody in the room, providing you with information, providing you with links, with lists of procurement requirements, with contact information as well. So that's our obligation to get that information back to you. And thanks to David Cooperstone at the back, we'll also be seeing a video of this launched on the Delta Chamber of Commerce website that anybody can access as well, along with the materials that we will be sending to you as event participants. So please watch yourself. Please do not monopolize the time of any speakers, such as your want. I hope you all brought business cards. And again, that word, Fred, is? Pre-qualify. So Anya and Chris and Mike, if you could please make your way to your spots, we'll get underway. There's also some sandwiches and some lovely dessert left in case anybody has any requirements for a sweet or something. So ladies and gentlemen, this time was put together for you. There you go.
Okay. They're quite long. Should I take this as well? Or is it, no, it's okay to you. That's okay. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Create separation. Yeah. My card.
Well, you probably won't get access to the early designs. No. The only thing we're working is on this, because it's LNG tank. It's a pre-stressed. I want to touch base with Anya over there, because she's over procurement. It says procurement, but she also helps me over there.
Local. It took us 10 minutes to get here, and then we actually focus on industrial companies.
Wilfred Major is actually our supply chain for all the relations.
The last thing that gets done is the LNG tank. We purge it, and with that, we can actually hit the button, let gas in. Yeah.